What's going on, everybody? My name is Nick,
I'm Dave.
and this is the Deep Dive, but it's a special edition of the Deep Dive because instead of kind of looking back, we're looking a little bit forward. Isn't that right, Dave?
That's right. We're still going to go deep.
Deep.
Well, maybe not too deep.
Way down.
But we're going to do it.
That's right. Well, let's get into it, shall we? Well, Dave, you're looking fresh. It looks like we planned our outfits today.
Completely by accident, but it just felt like spring, short sleeves.
Getting ready for summer. Yeah, I feel you. You had a wedding this past weekend.
I did.
Talk to us about it.
Well, my son got married this weekend to his now wife, Emily, and it was a beautiful wedding up in near Asheville. Actually, we were in Hendersonville, a few miles away.
Okay.
At this inn for the whole weekend, and it was a beautiful weekend, and I am emotionally and physically and all that exhausted, but it's good to be back. Watched the service on Sunday. Chip did a great job, and it was a great worship, but didn't preach. So there's nothing to deep dive on for this past week, but we can look ahead a little bit.
Yeah, Chip did a great job.
Yeah,
got a little bit of his punching bag out, I think, and then kind of talked about how the church is called to love all people, all types, and I think that hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, I did. Amen.
But we're here to kind of give a little bit maybe of a preview of your series. I think it's called Real Faith, right?
That's right. That's where we're going this next Sunday, which is the 5th Sunday in May. We'll talk a little bit about that. But also during the month of June, it's a sermon series that's based on movies. We're looking at family movies, so safe for everyone. And I've done series like this in the past. First time I've done it here. First time I've actually done it in a long while. I'm looking really, really forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Any sneak peek of the movies that you're going to use?
This Sunday is Remember the Titans.
Oh, yeah. I love Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
Without giving away, just in case you haven't seen it, you can watch it beforehand. Is that a requirement?
It is not a requirement.
Okay.
You don't need to have watched these. And actually, we can talk a little bit about why we do a series like this, what the advantage of it is. But no, you don't need to have watched it. But I will tell you, spoiler alerts for all of them. If you haven't seen them, they're all good stories, and I'll be telling the stories enough so that people will get the illustrations. And so no need to have seen it before. You might want to afterwards. You might be inspired to, or
I would highly encourage you to go watch Remember the Titans now.
Yeah.
Like pause the podcast right here and go watch it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's amazing.
I'm hyped that you're using it. But so let's talk a little bit about the Real Faith. You're using movies to kind of set up your lesson and your message. Why'd you feel like this was the time?
Well, that's a really good question. It's an important question, I think, for us to think through anything that we do in church. What is the biblical and theological reason for doing what we're doing, or to preaching on what the preacher may be preaching on? I think those are always important questions to ask. And I think there are some. There's actually some practical reasons why we're doing it. And I'll go ahead and tell you the practical reason first is that during the summer, we give the children's ministry volunteers and all of them the time off. And so kids will be in the worship service. And so doing something that will be a little bit more approachable, a little bit more, I hate to use the word, entertaining for kids, keep their attention. And so that's part of the practical reason for doing it. But there's some really, I think, great reasons, if you stop to think about it, why we should do it from a biblical, theological reason. First of all, Jesus told stories. That's how he communicated his message, by telling stories. And every preacher since then has fallen into that path that he's an example he set for us. Preachers tell stories. Preachers use illustrations to try to communicate big concepts about the faith. And so we look for those good stories. They may be in a poem. It may be something that happened in the news. It could be from a movie. I think I've used illustrations from movies, maybe not by showing clips, but just referring to them, or something from a book. We're always looking to see God reveal God's self through whatever means we have, because God is doing that. The Psalms tells us that the heavens are, talk about the creation of God, and we can see that in that. And so I think there is this art for always looking to how is God revealing himself, and so we use those great stories. Some of the best ways that we have now are the movies that are made, and there's lessons that we've all been impacted by the movies. But Jesus used parables.
Right.
He used things from everyday life. He would be sitting out with his disciples, and he would say, how can I consider the lilies of the field?
Right.
He would use examples like that. I was thinking about an example a little bit earlier today. One time he was talking about the faith and the power of prayer, and he said, if you have faith, you can say to a mountain, "Be moved," and the mountain will be moved. Well, where he was sitting, there was a man-made mountain that was made in one of the kings or leaders of that time in Rome had this sort of artificial mountain built. And so he's sitting within distance. And so, that makes sense. If a man can do this, what greater things can God do? So Jesus used real illustrations, real life illustrations all around him to make his points about the kingdom of God. And so now I think the art of that is for us to look at, the stories that we have, the songs, events in life, and see God revealing himself through that. So hopefully that's what we'll do through our talk about movies, to look at some of these clips, talk about the storylines that's going on, and seeing what biblical messages we can find and discover in that.
Yeah, no, that sounds incredible. And I think I love when you talk about kind of finding God in some of the small things, even, because I know my family, we are regular movie watchers. Mm-hmm. On Friday nights, we either we'll do a movie night or we'll do a game night. And more often than not, it turns into a movie night because there's just so many movies out there we want to see. And it's funny kind of watching, even sometimes the kids will pull stuff out and be like, that's a good example of love, or that's a good example of
forgiveness.
Just something like that. So I think it's cool. And I think the kids, I know my kids will enjoy it.
I hope so. And I think the adults will too. And as I said, there is no reason, there's no requirement to have seen the movie. I will say spoiler alert because I will tell a lot of the plot, but I give a synopsis of the movie and then some of the main teaching points that come out of it. And there are a bunch of them for Remember the Titans, a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think after, it's been out for like 25 years now or something like that. It's been out for a while. I think you passed the spoiler alert.
Yeah,
so.
I think it was like 2001. I was looking at that. I rewatched it Sunday night.
So about 20 years then.
Yeah. And so, but it's a classic.
Yeah,
it really is. Denzel Washington. Oh, man.
I love
amazing.
Denzel.
Yeah.
But I don't think you have to worry about the spoiler alerts too much. Now,
for sure.
If you were teaching from Doctor Strange or in the multiverse or whatever, maybe back off a little bit, preacher, but you're safe on this one.
Yeah, and all the movies that we'll choose will be family movies that be safe for anyone to watch, and so
Saving Private Ryan's next week?
It's not.
Dang, Braveheart.
There's no Godfather Trilogy either.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
okay, all right.
Not for the kids. Not for the kids.
Not for the kids.
Yeah.
Well, this week we're coming up on a fifth Sunday.
That's right. That's important for us to know.
And there will be one service at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
That's kind of some in-house housekeeping. Just remember, one service, 10 o'clock.
Right.
But then there's going to be some stuff afterwards happen. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I think you may know more than I do, but it is our kickoff for the summer.
Correct.
And so going to be a great time. It's also Memorial Day weekend, and so we know people are celebrating that, and I will tell you, we are going to celebrate that within our service as well.
Awesome.
Also, there's going to be a baptism.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
that's the spoiler alert.
Yeah. It's going to be a great service and a great Sunday to be there. Tell us about the fifth Sunday stuff. I know Rachel, your wife, has been working closly with that.
Yep.
What can we expect for that?
So first, right after so you come to the service, enjoy the service, worship, get right with the Lord, all that good stuff. Have a great time in service. But then afterwards, we're inviting people to join us for potluck lunch.
Mm-hmm.
So come bring something to share. There is a sign up online you can do, or just bring something. And after the potluck, during the potluck, we'll all kind of break bread, enjoy a meal together, talk, hang out. But then right after that, she has rented an inflatable slip and slide. So it's going to be totally wet, but you can run and like bounce and slide all the way down. It's going to be awesome.
Dislocate my shoulder.
Potentially. Yeah, maybe copays are in the future. And then she got a 16-foot tall slide that's also a wet slide. So a lot of wet. It's going to be wet and wild out there, but there's water balloons, stuff for the whole family to kind of do. Fine. I think me and John are going to do a few games out back with the water, and bring a pop-up tent, bring a few chairs to come sit out and hang out and just enjoy the afternoon with each other.
So what about, like, should I go pick up a bucket of fried chicken, or is there going to be any kind of meat provided, or how's that all working?
Based on your last name, it's kind of been split out. I don't have the designations out in front of you. But on the sign up, it says, if you're
maybe we can put a link in the video that tells that based on your last name. Okay.
Yeah. So just jump in, grab something, and come eat. It'll be a good time.
It's going to be fun.
Methodists, we know how to throw a potluck.
Yes.
And it's always good. So come on out.
Yeah. So it's kicking off the movie series, and we'll have four more after that, and it's going to get us off to a great start in June. Kids will be in the service. Fifth Sunday is always a great time of worship. So
it is
going to be an exciting Sunday. I hope we'll have a great crowd, either online or in person.
Yeah, it'll be good to have everybody together, and that's kind of what we've got for today. It's a little bit of a special edition. We wanted to get you something, and always be in connection with us, be in community. Next week we'll jump back more into a sermon deep dive, where we'll be talking about Remember the Times, and there's so many great teaching points from that. This is going to be a good one. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited about that. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Give us some of your day. And Dave, you got anything else to add?
Nope. Just God bless. Have a good week.
Y'all take care. Bye.